Welcome back to our channel, World Coins History. As you knew that old is gold, but these rare Jefferson nickel coins that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them. You're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1. Today, we're going to talk about a fascinating piece of American currency, one that might just be hiding in your collection or your pockets, the 1964 United States 5-cent coin. At first glance, it may seem like just another nickel, but let me tell you, this little coin could be worth much more than you'd ever imagine. Stick around until the end to find out the jaw-dropping value of this 5-cent coin from 1964. Let's begin by looking at the historical context of the 1964 5-cent coin. The 1960s were an important period for the United States. In 1964, the country was experiencing significant changes, both socially and economically. This was the year that the iconic Kennedy half-dollar was first minted to honor President John F. Kennedy, following his assassination. But at the same time, the 5-cent coin, or nickel, continued to be a staple of American currency, minted during a time of transition. The 1964 nickel features the classic design that was first introduced in 1938, a design that has since become one of the most recognizable in American coinage history. On the obverse, you'll find a profile of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States. Jefferson, a founding father and the author of the Declaration of Independence, has been immortalized on the nickel since 1938, and his image still graces the coin today. On the reverse side, there's a depiction of Jefferson's home, Monticello, which is a symbol of his legacy and the American ideals of freedom and independence. Now, here's where things get interesting. While most 1964 5-cent coins are worth just 5 cents, some are worth an incredible amount of money. You see, in 1964, the U.S. Mint produced millions of nickels, and most of them were made from a combination of copper and nickel, which was the standard for coins at the time. But, as it turns out, there were a few of these 1964 nickels that were accidentally minted with a rare and valuable error. This error has to do with the composition of the coin and its metal content. In 1964, a few nickels were mistakenly struck with a higher percentage of silver, a metal that was in use for many of the United States coins at the time. The silver content in these nickels gives them a much higher intrinsic value than the standard copper-nickel alloy coins. As you might imagine, these silver error coins are extremely rare and highly sought after by collectors, making them incredibly valuable today. So, how can you tell if you have one of these rare silver 1964 nickels? Well, it's all about the metal composition. The easiest way to check is by using a magnet. Regular 1964 nickels are made from a copper-nickel mix, so they're not magnetic. However, if the coin is attracted to the magnet, then you're looking at a silver error coin. While this is a simple test, it's not always foolproof. The best way to confirm the authenticity of the coin is to have it professionally graded by a reputable coin grading service, but the magnet test is a great first step. Now, here's the most exciting part: the value of this rare coin. Most 1964 5-cent coins are worth only their face value, but a silver error coin from this year is a completely different story. These rare silver nickels can be worth an astonishing $79,000. Yes, you heard that right, $79,000 for a single 1964 5-cent coin. It's incredible to think that such a small coin, one that was once used for everyday purchases, could now fetch such a high price at auction. So, if you have a collection of old nickels or you happen to come across one of these 1964 5-cent coins, make sure to check it carefully. You might be holding onto a piece of history that's worth far more than you thought. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just someone who enjoys finding treasures, this is definitely a coin worth keeping an eye out for. Before you go, remember that the value of these rare coins depends not just on their metal composition but also on their condition. A coin in mint or near mint condition, with no wear or damage, will be worth much more than one that's heavily circulated. So, if you happen to find a 1964 silver nickel in pristine condition, you could be looking at a very valuable addition to your collection. Top 2, we have something truly exciting to explore: a coin that many people overlook, but could actually be hiding a significant value. We're talking about the United States 5-cent coin from 1987. At first glance, it may seem like just another nickel, but don't be fooled, this coin could be worth much more than you think. Stick around as we dive into the history, design, and most importantly, the potential value of the 1987 5-cent coin. Let's start with a bit of background about the coin itself. The 1987 5-cent coin, also known as the nickel, was part of the ongoing series of coins that the U.S. Mint produced as everyday currency. As many of you know, the nickel features the image of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States. He's been the face of the coin since 1938, making it one of the longest-running designs in American coinage history. On the reverse side, you'll find a depiction of Jefferson's home, Monticello, which symbolizes the ideals of freedom, independence, and the legacy of one of the nation's most important founding fathers. But why is the 1987 5-cent coin so special? The simple answer is rarity and condition. While millions of 1987 nickels were produced and circulated, the ones that are in pristine, uncirculated condition are incredibly hard to come by. Coins that have been used in daily transactions over the years often show signs of wear and tear, scratches, discoloration, or fading, but a coin that has remained in near-perfect condition can be quite valuable to collectors. You see, coin collectors aren't just looking for any coin, they're after the best condition possible. The 1987 5-cent coin, when found in mint or near-mint condition, becomes an excellent candidate for a higher price on the market. This is due to the fact that most of these coins have been circulated, and those that have survived without any visible damage are rarer and, therefore, more valuable. However, the real value of the 1987 nickel doesn't just lie in its general condition. Some coins from this year were minted with slight variations or errors that make them even more desirable to collectors. These errors can range from subtle differences in the design to more noticeable flaws that occurred during the minting process. For example, a coin that has been struck off-center, or one with unusual die markings, might be worth far more than a regular coin from the same year. These errors are rare, and collectors are often willing to pay top dollar for them. The most common type of error with the 1987 5-cent coin is the double die variety, where the coin's design appears to have been struck more than once, resulting in a slightly blurry or doubled image. Coins with this error are extremely sought after because they are unique and represent a mistake made during the minting process, a mistake that makes them stand out in a collection. If you're wondering how you can identify a doubled die error or other variations in your 1987 nickel, there are a few things to look for. The first and most obvious sign is the clarity of the coin's design. If you notice that the details, like the lettering or the images of Jefferson and Monticello, appear slightly doubled or out of alignment, it could be a double die coin. You can also check the thickness of the lettering and compare it to other coins from the same year to see if it looks unusual. If you suspect your coin might be an error, it's always a good idea to have it professionally graded by a trusted numismatist to confirm its value. So, just how much is a 1987 5-cent coin worth? Well, the value can vary depending on its condition and any potential errors. A regular, circulated 1987 nickel is worth only its face value, 5 cents, but that's not what makes this coin interesting. When found in perfect, uncirculated condition, or if it has a rare minting error, the value skyrockets. Coins with certain errors or in pristine condition can sell for impressive sums, with the right buyer willing to pay top dollar for a truly exceptional specimen. Now, the moment you've been waiting for, the value of a truly rare 1987 5-cent coin. If you happen to find a 1987 nickel in uncirculated condition, or even better, one with a minting error like the double die, it could be worth a jaw-dropping $56,000. That's right, $56,000 for a single 1987 nickel. It's amazing to think that such a small coin, once used for everyday purchases, could now be worth a small fortune. So, what does this mean for you? If you've got an old coin jar sitting around or happen to have a collection of nickels from the 1980s, it's definitely worth taking a closer look at them. You never know, you might have one of these valuable, rare coins in your hands. And if you do, you could be looking at an impressive payday. Before we wrap up, remember that the value of any coin, especially rare ones, depends not just on its rarity or errors, but also on its condition. A coin in perfect or near-perfect shape will always fetch a higher price than one that's been heavily circulated. So, if you come across a 1987 nickel that looks like it's been sitting in mint condition, it could be worth far more than you ever expected. Top 3. We have an incredible discovery that could change your view on the value of some seemingly ordinary coins. Have you ever come across a 5-cent coin from 1963? You might just want to take a closer look at it, because this little nickel could be worth far more than you expect. Stick with us as we explore the history, design, and, most importantly, the amazing value of the 1963 United States 5-cent coin. Let's start by taking a step back and looking at the history behind this coin. The 1963 5-cent piece was part of the ongoing nickel series, which has been in circulation since the late 1800s. By 1963, the coin had already been in its familiar form for decades, featuring the portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and a depiction of his home, Monticello, on the reverse. Jefferson, one of America's founding fathers and the third President of the United States, has been featured on the nickel since 1938. The reverse side of the coin has depicted his Virginia estate, Monticello, as a symbol of Jefferson's legacy in his vision for the young nation. During 1963, the United States was in a period of economic stability and growth. The coin, while part of the everyday currency used by millions of Americans, was also symbolic of the larger trends in the economy and culture at the time. But the 1963 5-cent coin is not just a simple reflection of history, it also holds significant value today, especially in certain circumstances. So why is the 1963 nickel worth paying attention to? The value of the 1963 5-cent coin lies not just in its historical significance but in its rarity and condition. Like most coins, the 1963 nickel was minted in large quantities. However, the condition in which a coin survives and whether it has any unique characteristics can drastically affect its value in the collector's market. Most 1963 nickels are found in used, worn, or circulated conditions, which means they are typically worth just their face value of 5 cents. However, some of these coins have survived the test of time in exceptional condition, and that's where the value begins to soar. You see, collectors prize coins that are in pristine, uncirculated condition, and finding a 1963 nickel that has remained free from scratches, dings, and discoloration is quite rare. If you happen to have a 1963 nickel that is in mint condition, it could fetch a much higher price than you might expect. But that's just the beginning point. One of the main reasons the 1963 5-cent coin can be so valuable is due to certain rarities and errors that occur during the minting process. Even though the 1963 nickel was struck in vast quantities, there were a few coins that were minted with mistakes, errors that make them extremely valuable to coin collectors. These types of coins are called error coins, and they can drastically increase the value of a seemingly common coin. Some 1963 nickels have been discovered with things like double dies, off-center strikes, and other minting imperfections. These mistakes make the coin stand out from the rest, and because they are so rare, they are highly sought after by collectors. The double die error is one of the most common types of errors you'll find with the 1963 5-cent coin. This occurs when the coin is struck more than once by the dies, which causes the design to appear slightly doubled or blurry. If you have a 1963 nickel with this error, it could be worth a lot more than a regular one. Another error to look out for is the off-center strike, where the design is misaligned and the image is partially cut off at the edge of the coin. Both of these errors are considered significant in the coin collecting world and can add a substantial amount of value to a coin. Now, let's talk about the real kicker. Just how much is a rare 1963 5-cent coin worth? If you happen to own a 1963 nickel that's in perfect condition or one with a valuable error, the price can be staggering. In fact, a 1963 nickel in pristine, uncirculated condition or with a notable minting error could be worth an impressive $69,000. Yes, you read that correctly, $69,000 for a single coin that was once worth just 5 cents. That's the magic of rare error coins. Something that might seem completely ordinary could actually be worth a small fortune if it has the right characteristics. And it's not just about finding any old 1963 nickel, it's about finding one that has survived the decades in pristine condition or has a rare, valuable error that sets it apart from the rest. So, how do you go about finding one of these valuable 1963 nickels? First, you'll need to carefully inspect any old coin collections you have, or even check your pocket change. It's important to look for coins that are well preserved, free from wear and scratches. If you find a 1963 nickel that looks almost brand new, it could be a real gem. If you suspect there's something unique about a coin, like a double die or off-center strike, it's always a good idea to have it professionally graded by a reputable coin expert to determine its true value. In conclusion, the 1963 5-cent coin might just be hiding in plain sight in your collection or pocket. While the standard 1963 nickel is worth its face value, the rarities, errors, and pristine specimens can bring in extraordinary sums. So, if you come across a 1963 nickel in great condition, or better yet, one with a rare minting error, you could be holding onto a coin worth a staggering $69,000. It's incredible to think that such a small piece of history could have such a large price tag. Top 4. We're going to focus on a coin that might just be lurking in your collection or hiding in your spare change, the 1975 United States 5-cent coin. While it may seem like an ordinary nickel, you might be surprised to learn that this little coin could actually be worth a lot more than you might think. Stick around as we unravel the secrets of the 1975 nickel and discover why it's so special. Let's start by talking about the 1975 nickel's place in history. By 1975, the United States was in the midst of the 1970s, a decade marked by political change, economic challenges, and an evolving cultural landscape. The coin itself is part of the larger series of U.S. nickels that feature Thomas Jefferson's portrait on the obverse, a design that has been in circulation since 1938. Jefferson, one of the country's founding fathers and the author of the Declaration of Independence, represents a cornerstone of American values and ideals. On the reverse side, we have an image of Jefferson's Virginia estate, Monticello. The depiction of Monticello has been on the nickel since the coin's inception, symbolizing Jefferson's legacy and his vision for the United States. The 1975 5-cent coin, with its simple yet powerful design, has carried these iconic symbols of American heritage for decades, serving as both currency and a piece of history for generations of Americans. But why is the 1975 5-cent coin worth more than just its face value? After all, millions of these coins were minted and circulated throughout the country. The answer lies in the rarity of certain versions of the coin, particularly those in uncirculated condition or those that have unique characteristics. Most of the 1975 nickels that you'll find today are worn or damaged, having been through years of use. However, some rare specimens of the 1975 nickel have survived in pristine condition, and that's where their value starts to rise. Coins in excellent condition are much more valuable than their worn counterparts because collectors seek out coins that show no signs of damage or heavy use. These well-preserved coins are rare to find, and they are often worth far more than you might expect. But it doesn't stop there, error coins can be even more valuable. So, let's talk about what makes the 1975 nickel even more exciting in the world of coin collecting. The 1975 5-cent coin was struck during a time when minor errors could occur in the minting process, and these errors are what collectors love to find. Error coins are rare by nature, and they often command prices far beyond what you'd think a coin would be worth. One of the most common and valuable errors found with the 1975 nickel is the double die variety. This error happens when the coin is struck more than once, causing the design to appear doubled or misaligned. If you happen to find a 1975 nickel with this error, it could be worth far more than a regular coin from the same year. Another potential error to watch out for is an off-center strike. This occurs when the coin is not properly aligned in the minting press, causing the design to be partially off the coin's edge. Off-center errors can be highly desirable because they are unique and show a mistake made during the minting process, which only adds to their rarity and value. These kinds of errors are not only fascinating to look at, but they can also make a coin worth many times its face value. Now that you know a little about the background of the 1975 nickel and its potential errors, you're probably wondering, just how much is this coin worth? While the majority of 1975 5-cent coins are worth only 5 cents, the rare, well-preserved examples and those with minting errors can fetch significant amounts of money. A pristine, uncirculated 1975 nickel could easily be worth much more than its original face value. But that's not all. The real kicker comes when we talk about error coins. If you manage to find a 1975 nickel with one of these rare minting mistakes, like a double die or off-center strike, you could be sitting on a small fortune. The value of these error coins can skyrocket in the right market, and it's not uncommon for them to fetch tens of thousands of dollars at auction. So, here's the exciting part: a 1975 nickel in exceptional condition, or one with a minting error, could be worth an astounding $64,000. Yes, you heard that right, $64,000 for a single 1975 5-cent coin. It's hard to believe that such a small, seemingly insignificant coin could be worth that much money, but that's the magic of rare and error coins. That if you have a 1975 nickel lying around, it's definitely worth taking a second look. If you find one in excellent condition, or if it has a unique error, you could be holding on to a valuable treasure. The best part? You don't need to be a professional collector to spot these coins. Just keep your eyes open and check any old coin collections, or even look through your pocket change. You never know what you might find. Before we wrap up, let's remind ourselves that coin collecting isn't just about the value, it's also about the history and the story behind each piece. The 1975 5-cent coin is a part of American heritage, and whether it's worth 5 cents or $64,000, it's a reminder of the history that's embedded in every coin. So, keep searching, keep collecting, and who knows? You might just stumble upon the next big treasure. Top 5, we're going to talk about a particular gem that could be hiding in your collection or even in your pocket change: the 1974 United States 5-cent coin. If you've ever come across a 1974 nickel, you might want to take a second look, because this seemingly ordinary coin could be worth way more than its face value. In fact, it might just be worth a small fortune. Stick with us as we dive into the history, design, and most importantly, the potential value of this intriguing coin. Let's first take a look at the history of the 1974 5-cent coin. The 1974 nickel is part of the long-running series of coins featuring Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States. The design of the nickel has remained relatively unchanged since 1938, making it one of the most recognizable coins in American currency. Jefferson's portrait graces the obverse, reflecting his importance as a founding father and author of the Declaration of Independence. On the reverse side of the coin, we see Monticello, Jefferson's home in Virginia. Monticello has been featured on the nickel since the coin's inception, symbolizing Jefferson's legacy and the vision he had for the country. For decades, this nickel has served as a reminder of the nation's history and the values it was built upon. Now, while the 1974 nickel may seem like just another piece of change, there's more to it than meets the eye. Like many coins, the value of a 1974 5-cent piece can fluctuate depending on its rarity and condition. The majority of 1974 nickels were minted in large quantities and spent in daily transactions, meaning most have been worn down and are in relatively poor condition. However, certain specimens have survived in near-perfect condition, making them highly valuable to collectors. When it comes to coin collecting, condition is key. Coins that are in pristine, uncirculated condition are far more valuable than those that have been used and circulated for years. But it's not just about condition. There are also certain rare varieties and minting errors that can make a 1974 nickel worth much more than its face value. These error coins are highly sought after, and a mistake made during the minting process can increase the value of a coin dramatically. One of the most common and valuable errors in the 1974 5-cent coin is the double die variety. This error occurs when the coin is struck multiple times by the minting dies, causing the design to appear doubled or blurry. If you find a 1974 nickel with this error, it could be worth far more than a standard, uncirculated coin. Other errors to look out for include off-center strikes, where the design is misaligned, or die cracks, where a crack appears in the die used to mint the coins, resulting in a unique and unusual pattern on the coin itself. Collectors are always on the lookout for coins that have these minting errors, as they represent rare and one-of-a-kind pieces. These error coins are often more valuable because they showcase mistakes made during the minting process, and collectors are willing to pay a premium for these rarities. So, if you happen to have a 1974 nickel with a minting error, you could be holding onto a real treasure. But what about the coins that are in excellent condition but don't have any errors? Even in perfect, uncirculated condition, the 1974 nickel can be worth more than its face value. Coins that have been preserved in mint condition are much rarer than those that have been used and circulated. The value of a coin in such a condition increases as the coin becomes harder to find in such a state. As time passes, the number of well-preserved 1974 nickels decreases, which makes those that do remain more valuable to collectors. Now, let's get to the exciting part. Just how much is the 1974 5-cent coin worth? Well, the value of a 1974 nickel varies depending on its condition, rarity, and any minting errors. Most common 1974 nickels are worth just their face value of 5 cents, but if you find one in perfect, uncirculated condition, or even better, one with a minting error, then the price can rise dramatically. Are you ready for the big reveal? A rare, high-grade 1974 nickel in excellent condition or one with a minting error could be worth an incredible $67,000. Yes, you read that right, $67,000 for a single 1974 5-cent coin. This is a truly staggering amount for a coin that was once worth just 5 cents, but that's the power of rare coins with minting errors or exceptional condition. Finding a 1974 nickel worth that much is certainly not something that happens every day, but it's proof that there are hidden treasures all around us. If you have any 1974 nickels in your collection, or if you come across one in your spare change, it might be worth your while to give it a closer inspection. You could be sitting on a valuable coin that could bring you a significant return. So, whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting to learn about the world of coin collecting, remember that even the most unassuming coins can hide incredible value. Keep your eyes peeled for rare varieties, minting errors, and coins in excellent condition. You never know when you might discover a 1974 nickel worth $67,000. Top 6. We have something truly exciting to talk about, the 1985 United States 5-cent coin, also known as the nickel. You might think it's just another ordinary coin, but trust us, there's much more to this small piece of currency than meets the eye. Stick around because by the end of this video, you'll see why this 1985 nickel could be worth way more than you ever imagined. Let's start by setting the stage and looking at the 1985 5-cent coin within the context of U.S. history. The 1980s were a time of change and growth in America. The economy was in a recovery phase following the early part of the decade, and the nation was experiencing a cultural boom. The 1985 nickel was minted during a time when the U.S. was continuing to circulate the iconic Jefferson nickel design, which had been in place since 1938. This design, which features the profile of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, on the obverse side, has been a fixture of American currency for decades. On the reverse of the coin, you'll find an image of Jefferson's home, Monticello, which has graced the nickel since its inception. This image serves as a lasting tribute to Jefferson's contributions to American history and his legacy as one of the founding fathers. While the design has remained mostly unchanged over the years, the 1985 nickel holds a special place in the hearts of coin collectors for a number of reasons. Let's dive deeper into what makes this particular coin worth seeking out. First, we have to talk about rarity and condition. While the 1985 nickel was produced in large quantities, not all of them have survived the test of time in good condition. As with any coin, those that have been heavily circulated, scratched, or damaged are worth little more than their face value, just 5 cents. But here's the thing, finding a 1985 nickel that has been preserved in pristine, uncirculated condition is much rarer than you might think. And that's what makes these coins so desirable to collectors. Coins that have been stored carefully and remain free from signs of wear and tear are in far higher demand than their well-worn counterparts. The 1985 nickel, when found in mint condition, becomes a coveted piece of history and a valuable item for collectors. But the real intrigue comes when we talk about the rarest of the rare, the error coins. The world of error coins is where things get really interesting. Sometimes, during the minting process, a mistake occurs that causes the coin to have unique features, making it stand out from the rest. These error coins are like treasure to collectors because they are rare, unusual, and often highly valuable. In the case of the 1985 nickel, there are a few specific errors that collectors are on the lookout for. One of the most sought-after errors is the double die variety. A double die error happens when the die used to stamp the coin gets misaligned or strikes the coin multiple times, causing the design to appear doubled or blurry. These types of errors are highly coveted because they are so unusual and represent a flaw in the minting process. If you happen to have a 1985 nickel with a double die error, it could be worth far more than a regular coin from the same year. Another potential error to watch out for is an off-center strike. This occurs when the coin is not properly aligned in the press during the minting process, causing the design to be off-center or misaligned. Off-center strikes can make a coin look unusual and unique, and error coins like these are often in high demand by collectors. The more pronounced the error, the higher the value of the coin. It's important to note that these minting errors are rare, and finding a 1985 nickel with one of these characteristics is not an everyday occurrence. However, if you do come across one, it's essential to have it professionally graded by a trusted coin grading service to determine its true value. Coins that are properly graded by experts can fetch significantly higher prices at auction, especially when they have rare features or are in exceptional condition. So now, let's get to the exciting part. Just how much could a 1985 5-cent coin be worth? While most 1985 nickels are worth only 5 cents, certain rare specimens can fetch eye-popping prices. A regular 1985 nickel in perfect, uncirculated condition can already command a premium over its face value, but when it comes to error coins, that's where things get really exciting. The value of a 1985 nickel with a rare minting error or one in pristine condition can reach impressive heights. A coin that is in exceptional condition, or one that features a minting error like a double die or an off-center strike, could be worth an astonishing $57,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $57,000 for a single 1985 5-cent coin. That's an incredible value for a coin that was once worth only 5 cents. If you happen to have one of these rare error coins or a well-preserved 1985 nickel, you could be sitting on a small fortune. Coins like these don't come around every day, and the market for rare coins has been growing steadily, making it an exciting time to be involved in coin collecting. But even if you don't have one of these rare coins, it's always a good idea to keep an eye out for any nickels that could be hiding in your collection. To wrap things up, it's clear that the 1985 United States 5-cent coin is far more than just a piece of currency. It's a piece of history, and depending on its condition or if it has a unique minting error, it could be worth a lot more than you think. So, next time you come across a 1985 nickel, take a moment to inspect it closely. You might just have a rare treasure in your hands, one that could be worth an incredible $57,000. Top 7. We're going to explore a coin that may seem like just another ordinary nickel at first glance, but trust me, it holds way more value than you might think. Today, we're diving into the 1988 United States 5-cent coin, the 1988 nickel, and exploring why this seemingly simple coin could be worth a small fortune. So, grab your magnifying glass and let's get started. Let's rewind to 1988 for a second. The 1980s were a time of change in America, with economic shifts, political movements, and cultural changes taking place. It was a decade marked by growth in various areas, and of course, that includes the world of U.S. currency. The 1988 nickel was minted as part of the series of coins featuring Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States. Jefferson's image has been on the obverse of the nickel since 1938, and it's one of the most iconic features of the U.S. coinage system. On the reverse of the 1988 nickel, we have an image of Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia estate. Monticello has been featured on the nickel since the coin's creation, symbolizing Jefferson's role in shaping the nation's early history. The design has become a representation of American ideals, rooted in freedom and democracy. While the coin's design has remained consistent over the years, the 1988 nickel is part of the larger collection of nickels that circulate today, and it's worth understanding what makes it special and how it has become a favorite among collectors. So, what makes the 1988 nickel so interesting from a collector's perspective? The answer lies in its rarity, condition, and the potential for finding minting errors that could skyrocket the coin's value. Let's first talk about condition because this is a huge factor in determining a coin's worth. If you've ever looked through your change and noticed a nickel that's worn down, scratched, or damaged, you know that these coins typically don't fetch much more than their face value, 5 cents. That's the reality for most circulated coins. However, some 1988 nickels have survived in exceptional condition, and that's where things get interesting. A 1988 nickel that's still in uncirculated condition, meaning it hasn't been subjected to the normal wear and tear of daily circulation, can be worth much more than just 5 cents. These pristine coins are rare because most coins that are produced in large quantities end up being heavily circulated. Coins that have remained in excellent condition over the years are more valuable to collectors because they represent a rare piece of history. So, if you happen to come across a 1988 nickel that's free of scratches, dings, and discoloration, you could have a valuable coin on your hands. Now, let's talk about something that gets collectors really excited: minting errors. During the production of coins, it's not uncommon for errors to occur, and these errors can significantly increase a coin's value. The 1988 nickel is no exception. One of the most common types of errors that collectors look for is called a doubled die error. This happens when the die that strikes the coin becomes misaligned or strikes the coin multiple times, causing the design to appear doubled or blurry. If you find a 1988 nickel with a double die error, you're holding a rare, highly sought-after coin that could fetch a substantial amount of money. Another potential error to keep an eye out for is an off-center strike. This happens when the coin is not properly aligned during the minting process, and as a result, the design is shifted to one side, leaving part of the coin blank. Off-center coins are highly collectible because they're unique, and the more extreme the error, the more valuable the coin can become. So, if you come across a 1988 nickel that's off-center, it could be worth much more than you ever thought possible. Collectors are always on the lookout for coins with these types of errors because they are unique, rare, and visually interesting. These error coins can sometimes be worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars, depending on the severity of the error and the condition of the coin. The rarer the error, the higher the demand from collectors, which drives up the price. But what about the general value of a well-preserved 1988 nickel without any errors? Even without minting mistakes, coins that have been kept in excellent condition can still carry a higher than expected value. A 1988 nickel in mint condition will generally be worth more than face value, but when it comes to error coins or those in uncirculated condition, the value can skyrocket. So, how much could a 1988 5-cent coin be worth? Well, while most 1988 nickels are still worth just 5 cents, there are rare specimens, those in pristine condition or with minting errors, that can command impressive amounts at auction. A well-preserved 1988 nickel, especially one with a unique error, could fetch an eye-popping price. And if you happen to stumble upon a 1988 nickel with an even rarer minting mistake, you could be sitting on a goldmine. And now, for the moment you've been waiting for: how much could the 1988 5-cent coin actually be worth? A 1988 nickel in exceptional condition, or one with a minting error like a double die or an off-center strike, could be worth an astonishing $53,000. Yes, that's $53,000 for a single 1988 5-cent coin. It's incredible to think that a coin worth just 5 cents could be worth so much, but that's the beauty of rare coins and the coin collecting world. If you happen to find one of these rare 1988 nickels, you could be holding on to something truly special. So, don't overlook that nickel you find in your pocket change. It could be worth far more than you think, especially if it's in mint condition or has one of those rare minting errors. Top 8 and last coin, we've got a truly fascinating coin to talk about, the 1972 United States 5-cent coin, or the 1972 nickel. Now, you might think of a nickel as just another piece of pocket change, but trust me, this particular coin is far more valuable than you may have ever imagined. Stick around until the end, and you'll find out just how much this 1972 nickel could be worth today. Let's first take a moment to set the scene and understand the historical context of the 1972 nickel. The 1970s were a time of change in the United States, with the country experiencing political upheaval, economic shifts, and cultural movements. Amid all this, the U.S. Mint continued to produce the iconic Jefferson nickel. This design, featuring Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, has been a staple of American coinage since 1938. The reverse side of the coin has an image of Monticello, Jefferson's famous home in Virginia, symbolizing his legacy and his contributions to the founding of the nation. So, what makes the 1972 5-cent coin so intriguing from a collector's standpoint? Well, while the 1972 nickel was minted in large quantities, it is important to note that, like most coins, it was widely circulated and subjected to wear and tear over the years. However, there are certain versions of this coin that have survived in pristine condition, making them extremely desirable to collectors. It's the coins that have been well preserved, free from any major damage or circulation marks, that hold the real value. When it comes to coin collecting, condition is everything. Coins that have been stored carefully, away from damage, and kept in uncirculated condition are significantly more valuable than coins that have been used for daily transactions. So, if you happen to come across a 1972 nickel that looks as though it's just been minted, you could be holding onto something worth much more than its face value of 5 cents. But that's not the only thing that could make a 1972 nickel more valuable. Another exciting aspect of coin collecting is the world of minting errors. Sometimes, during the production process, a coin will have a flaw that makes it unique from others. These errors are highly sought after by collectors because they add a sense of rarity and excitement to the coin story. The 1972 nickel, in particular, has a few types of errors that collectors absolutely love. One of the most sought-after errors is known as the double die error. This occurs when the die used to strike the coin becomes misaligned, or the design is struck multiple times, resulting in a coin with a design that appears to be doubled or blurry. If you happen to come across a 1972 nickel with this kind of error, it could be worth far more than a regular, undamaged coin from the same year. The double die variety is one of the most popular types of minting errors because it's so distinct and easy to spot. It adds a unique character to the coin, and collectors are always eager to add these error coins to their collections. Another error to watch for is an off-center strike. This happens when the coin is not properly aligned in the press during the minting process, causing the design to be off-center. This type of error makes the coin appear as though part of the design is missing or shifted to one side. Off-center coins are highly collectible because they are visually striking and one of a kind. If you find a 1972 nickel with an off-center strike, it could command a higher price than a regular nickel. And then there's the possibility of other subtle errors, anything from missing letters or numbers to odd die cracks. These small anomalies can make a coin stand out and, depending on how pronounced the error is, they can add significant value to the coin. It's important to examine each coin carefully and pay attention to any unusual features that might make it rare or unique. Now, let's get to the exciting part, the value. So, how much is the 1972 5-cent coin really worth? Well, as we mentioned earlier, most of these coins are still worth their face value of 5 cents. However, when you come across a 1972 nickel that has been well preserved in uncirculated condition, or better yet, one with a rare minting error, the price can increase dramatically. Coins like this can attract a lot of attention at auctions and coin shows, and you'd be surprised at how much these seemingly small pieces of history can go for. If you happen to find one of these rare error coins, or even a 1972 nickel in pristine condition, you could be sitting on a small fortune. In fact, a 1972 5-cent coin in excellent condition, or with a minting error, has been known to fetch as much as an incredible $72,000. Yes, you heard that right, $72,000 for a single 1972 nickel. Imagine finding a coin that was once worth just 5 cents, now worth tens of thousands of dollars simply because it's rare, well preserved, or has an unusual minting error. That's the beauty of coin collecting. You never know when you might stumble upon a hidden gem that could be worth much more than you originally thought. So, the next time you find yourself going through your pocket change or rummaging through an old coin jar, make sure to take a closer look at any 1972 nickels you come across. You could very well have a valuable coin on your hands, one that could be worth a jaw-dropping $72,000. If you enjoyed this video and want to dive deeper into the world of rare and valuable coins, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on our future discoveries. Thanks for watching, and happy hunting. Keep your eyes peeled for those hidden treasures. You never know what's waiting for you in your collection.